Hello, this is TelecomTV. I'm Martin Warwick and I'm talking with an old friend. Well, I don't mean an old friend, but an old friend, Marc Cohn, who is Vice President of Network Strategy at the Linux Foundation. Marc, great to see you. Good thing about events like this is you go to one place and you meet all your old pals.
It's wonderful to meet our old friends.
Well, let's talk about Linux Foundation to begin with and open source networking. What are you doing about open source networking there?
Well, the Linux Foundation has been working on developing open source methodologies for 25 years and is responsible for the largest open source project, which is Linux, of course, that has been morphed into a number of different applications and projects. But more recently has been moving into the networking space. So in 2013, we introduced Open Daylight, and since that time, we've added a number of different projects to the portfolio, both in terms of lower-level projects and even now, more recently, higher-level projects such as the OPENO orchestration project that we're in the process of forming.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because my next question to you is, I've heard a lot here about orchestration. I'd heard of OPENO, but I wasn't sure what it is. So you're going to explain it to me, I have no doubt in a moment. But why is orchestration so important? Is it because it overarches everything?
Yes, orchestration is the functionality that operators are going to use to actually deliver end-to-end services. And this is across domains, across different networking technologies. And it also provides for the bridge between the different underlying technologies like SDN and NFV. And it took a little while for orchestration to unfold in the open source community, but it's primarily because we needed a strong foundation from in essence, the lower layers, such as the NFV infrastructure, as well as the SDN architecture, before we were ready for orchestration. Because if you don't have an underlying infrastructure, orchestration is not going to have anything to orchestrate. And the capabilities that orchestration provides is to translate the individual request for services, not to mention applications, into the lower level composite parts. Things like how much storage is required, or how much compute power is required, or network connectivity. And to do it in a way that's actually consistent with the resource infrastructure that underlies the overall platforms that operators are using.
Okay, tell us more then, Marc, about OPENO. I assume that stands for orchestration at the end of it. What is it, and what is the Linux Foundation's involvement with it?
OPENO is a Linux Foundation collaborative project that is focused on creating a broad service orchestration capability that leverages both SDN, NFV, and existing network infrastructure. And this is one of the differences between OPENO and some of the other open source orchestration projects. We have a very broad charter and scope. The project was announced at Mobile World Congress in February of this year and is now in the formation stage. And we are soon to announce the founding members of OPENO, not to mention the initial code contributions that will constitute the technology baseline that we will be developing throughout the year. And our goal is to be able to develop our first release by the end of 2016.
Thank you. Now, when you said you can't build an orchestration layer without something beneath it, like building a house on sand. Doesn't work very well, does it? When you have that, what then goes above that foundation layer itself, the orchestration? Above that are the services, the applications which follow from it. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, there actually will be a portal, and there will also be the traditional OSS and BSS functions and capabilities that are going to that do exist, but they're applications from the network's perspective. Yeah. So when there's a new request for a particular service, such as an individual wants to access Office 365 on a secure and highly available connection, maybe from a different country than the home country, that actually is going to set into motion a number of different underlying capabilities that need to be orchestrated into the whole. And the OSS BSS are obviously not going away given the complexity and given the need that of providing the the overarching umbrella of functionality that service providers are actually using to generate revenue in their overall operations. So what we've developed with OPENO is a new generation of orchestration that incorporates automation. It also is going to integrate in SDN and NFV capabilities and do it in such a way that we can operate over the existing infrastructure.
As usual, Marc Cohn, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Martin.